Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your April 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again, a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. This person is a scammer. Do not be scammed. I will not be soliciting you for anything. With that said, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Scorpio, April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Fantastic. All right. So let's see the chakra energy for this time. Scorpio. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Ooh. And show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. This one right here. And let's see our spirit guide message for this time. Scorpio. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Ooh, that one. All right. And then finally, the energy we need to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Scorpio needs to be mindful of? April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. What is the energy that Scorpio needs to be mindful of? April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Excuse me. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle is our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what they have to say. We have the Seven of Swords, the Knight of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the Wheel, the Seven of Cups. We begin with a 7, we end with a 7. Now, this is very powerful because 7 is a truth number. So during this time, we're not going to like to be lied to at all. Not that we ever do. But also there's a sense of us being called out, and even the littlest of lies. So, or mistruths, as you would want to say, because there's that small. But yeah, that's just going to be the way of it. And so during this time, it's like the more honest we could be, or at least like, it's kind of like lying through evasion. Like, that would be the best route to go, is what Spirit is showing. Okay. And then let's see what the middle has to say. Now we're crowned with the heart with the 9 of Pentacles, which is absolutely beautiful. Prosperity comes. We have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy, time frame April 20th to May 20th. We have the 10 of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Somebody here, okay, just putting this out there, could be going through a really tough breakup right now, or an institution, something institutionalized, well, that sounds cold and distant, but something that has an institution behind it has fallen apart. Okay, but there's absolutely a blessing that comes once these things have finished settling, or else once we have gotten back our footing. So that's a really good thing. But the heart is changing, and it's around an institution, and it's a sense of prosperity. It can be that we kind of want to start our own job, or our own business. We want to get out more creatively. We want to be more in touch with nature. Those could be aspects of it, but it can also be a relationship is over, a mindset has ended. There's something here. Okay, we're moving forward. We have the Strength card, which is Leo energy. We have the Knight and the Strength card, so this is amplifying that Leo energy. Time frame of July 23rd to August 22nd. The 8 of Pentacles. Okay, hard work paying off. The Page of Pentacles, which is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, amplifying that we're learning a lot right here during this time from this Taurus energy. And then we have the Knight of Swords. This is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Now, let's see our chakra energy and our spirit guide message. So psychic development, third eye chakra. This is a time where we have to listen to our instinctual self. We can want to have all the facts and everything laid out in neat, proper little rows, but that's not how things are going to be working during this time. It's going to boil down to gut, and we're going to see here, because I'm seeing myself, kind of trip over my own words. It's like getting so excited and wanting to say just the right thing that we wind up tripping, we wind up stumbling. It's kind of like step back, let things flow naturally, let ourselves connect with our third eye, with our opening of ourself and our insights and our ideas and what we want and what we desire and how we're moving forward and what we need to see, what we want to see personally, spiritually. And there is a sense here of also developing the psychic sense of self. This is also the authentic sense of self, saying this is psychically what I need. This is mentally, spiritually, personally what I need to be able to move forward. This develops differently in each and every person. For some of us, it will be an increase of being able to tell things, of being able to feel things, of being able to understand things. For others, it's going to be that we have senses around things, or things start to be colored in a very certain way. The color red will mean something to you. The color pink will mean something to you. Blue, gold, green, everything will start to have a tinge to it. It can be starting to see auras, but it can also be our own kind of way of classifying the world, okay, starts to come out. And this brings powerful understanding. It can also be that we start to hear sounds, and certain sounds start to mean certain things. It's kind of like everything has a vibration, and we're starting to hear that vibration. And it kind of comes in the realm of kind of like whale songs. We start to feel the vibration of people, of the world, of what we want. So the psychic development really moves us forward, but it's also letting our angels know that we're listening to them. We know that we're cradled in their hands and that they're seeing us progress in a beautiful way. And then there's a need for serenity. During this time, we're going to want to be in the thick of everything. But the need for serenity says step back, embrace what is desired, embrace what we want in quiet, in those serene moments, or even just being able to obtain the serene moments can be a job in and of itself. Everybody could want us. Everybody can be pulling us 500,000 different ways. To embrace serenity is to embrace the self and to empower the self. This leads us then to the energy to be mindful of, the King of Wands. Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Now, this doesn't mean, Scorpio, that we have to look out only for fire sign energies. It's going to be anybody who embodies this temperament, this sense of, they get really excited, okay? They have this fierce tenacity to them. They can also have really bad follow through. They can also get really kind of sidetracked very, very easily. One thing really excites them, but then they never finish that thing and they'll leave it for everybody else to handle. So the King of Wands is saying here, don't get caught up in their traps. Don't be the one kind of following them around, finishing up all the tasks. There's also a sense that they're going to want their passion to be your passion, right? The way that they see things, it's going to be very controlling. It's going to be the way that you have to see things. And that isn't going to be the case. It's like, okay, I can have my hobbies, my likes, my interests, and you can have yours. This person isn't going to like that. So that's going to be a very interesting dynamic. It can be messy. It can be very, very messy because as a water sign energy, we're going to want to soothe everything. And we're going to want to sit there and say, all right, I can calm it down. I can calm it down until we have enough. And just like, I'm just going to drown it. I'm just going to make it all disappear. And this moves us to the Seven of Swords. This is a time where we're gathering up our information. We're gathering up what we want. Now, this is also a time where we can start to see people kind of being a little bit sneaky around us, looking at things and saying, well, this is what I need. This is what I want. This is where I'm going. Or they're not making anything really clear and just kind of stepping back and really focusing on themselves. In work, this can be very challenging because you're not going to know what everybody's doing. And you're going to almost feel like you're nagging everybody to say, oh, what are you doing? How are you connecting with this? Like, how's this going? Or just like, tell me about this section. Tell me about this. It's going to be very frustrating. But what we have to do during this time is say, I'm focusing on what I need to focus on. I can't carry everything. I can't carry everybody. And I don't want to. And it's not being mean. It's very much being assertive of self. And as we say, I don't want to, it's opening up a greater understanding. And it's saying, I'm leaving some things behind. I can't carry that anymore. I can't have that be the definition of my life. I move forward in a way that I hadn't expected. But we're also going to find during this time kind of people we thought we could rely on, people we thought we could really lean on. They're not going to be there. Why? Because they're going to be really into their own drama, their own selves right now. It doesn't mean that they're bad. It just means that they're self-absorbed, as every human being gets. There's also a need to fight for what we're passionate about. The Knight of Wands, I love this kind of sense of jubilee and exaltation of self. But there is also a need here to say, this is what I want to celebrate within my life. And this is what I'm not going to celebrate. This is what I'm not going to tolerate. This is how I'm not going to let things, force me, to have me look at things a certain way. I'm sticking to the truth of me. Now, we can also have a fire sign energy coming around us. Somebody who is very passionate. Somebody who has their armor on. They're kind of very tough to get to know, get to understand. But there's going to be a sense here that the passion ignites passion. And they're going to help us see things differently. And we don't need, what Spirit has showed me over time, is that we don't need these to be actual people that walk into our lives. It can be a favorite book that we pick up, and all of a sudden we want to know more about that author. So we start researching, or actor, or whatever. And we start researching, we start kind of going deeper into things. And we start having our passion stirred up. It's like, wow, I can get really excited about this. Wow, I could have real talent here. Wow, I could move forward. And so it starts to propel us. And it can happen in the oddest of ways. It can be stumbling across a kind of thrift shop, antique place, and just being like, wow, this is so exciting to find these treasures. And a passion within us is going to be ignited. And there's a sense here of finding out more of what we want, finding out more of what we need, finding out more of the reason we get out of bed in the morning, and it not just being endless responsibilities that tend to drown us instead of exalting us. And it's jumping out of the water into the air. It's kind of like, I I just see it as the water boiling, right? And the cloud coming up and evaporating and going into the earth to be into the air to begin the cycle, to come down onto the earth again. And that's what we're going to see ourselves doing. This makes us rise. This makes us excited. This makes us joyous. And the Wheel of Fortune comes in and changes the whole entire game, because we're gathering up what we need. We're really starting to celebrate ourselves, what we want. We're not putting undue faith in others. We're looking at things, and then all of a sudden it starts to change. All of a sudden the Wheel of Fortune comes in, and it's a new season that we're embracing. Now, we might be really kind of excited for this situation. Well, yeah, we are excited for the situation, though it does bring it with it some unneeded, well, not unneeded, it's always needed, but it's going to be unwanted sense of trials and tribulations and, oh my gosh, can I do this? Because that's just going to be what comes up. And we're entering into a new season of greater understanding, greater sense of self and what we desire. There's going to be, even if it is a tough season, there's going to be this energy behind it of there's greater things coming. And even if we're in the most exalted season that we've been in quite some time, it's because we have a bigger goal. And we might know that like the exaltation, the rise, it isn't going to last forever, and we'll have ourselves come down a bit. But then there's going to be that next rise, because there's something bigger that we're working towards. There's something bigger that we want, that if we can connect with the third eye, the psychic self, if we can embrace the serenity of spirit and soul and what we desire, then we can move forward easy peasy, almost no problem whatsoever. But there is going to also be a lot of hard work that can be easily destroyed by others if we let it. Kind of like a spider's web. A spider's web, if we just take time to look at it, it's really beautiful. It's quite amazing. But so many people are afraid of spiders, and spider webs are so fragile. So all that hard work, all that effort, all that time can be destroyed so easily. And that's what going through a new season is like. It's like when we start to get our footing, the unsurety, the difference, the being unable to prepare completely, it throws us off course. And it can make us miss the brilliance of that season, or go through a really tough season where we think, what the heck was that for? Or why did I just plummet out of nowhere? And we start to see ourselves in a different light. But as we pull ourselves out of that hardship, of that hurt, we start to understand something greater about who it is that we are. And it really does focus us on our dreams. And it really does bring one dream to the forefront. And that's going to be something that we've kind of let slip away. We've always said, oh, I'll keep that on the back burner, or I'll come to that later. And later just never comes. Now it is a time to really focus on that dream. It's at the root of our inner self. So even if we're not working towards it, we can be, like, even if we're not actively working on it, we are working towards it in a greater, more powerful way. We're going to see it becoming part of our conscious mind, not only part of our subconscious mind. We're going to find that we dream about it. So yes, it is part of our subconscious, but we are empowered by the knowledge that we're finding, by the power that we're seeking from this inspiration, from this idea. And it's like one thing starts to shine out above the rest. And that's important, because if you're like me, I love to have multiple things going in at once, but every now and then, or at times, it just gets so overwhelming, and it can all shatter. There's a brilliance to being able to say, I'm focusing on this now, and then I'll focus on this, and then I'll focus on this. So there is a brilliance to that, which I myself am very much learning. But we're going to be finding that that's astoundingly important, to really understand the brilliance in looking at something and giving it our intention, giving it our understanding, giving it part of our soul. And then it leads us to the Nine of Pentacles. There's a payoff from that. Is the payoff going to be difficult? Absolutely. Now, it can be that we're breaking into a new field. That could be the case so much. There can also be a sense of wanting prosperity. Okay, because Spirit keeps on bringing this up. This might be for one specific person here. Wanting prosperity after a failed relationship. And it could be that that relationship lasted a really long time, or it could be that you guys were intertwined financially in a very intense way. You gave up your dreams for the other person, or you at least put them on hold. And now it's time to enter into a new season, which is terrifying and yet beautiful at the exact same time. And it's like you've been silenced long enough, Scorpio. And what's happening here is we're seeing this prosperity come in. We're also seeing the hawk. Falconry was very big around nobility in the Middle Ages, and it's still really, really cool. The thing with falconry is that it takes time, it takes effort. The birds are very hard to control, and they can never really be as tamed as we want them to be because, they're wild animals. So with this sense of controlling something wild to be able to have a better view means that it is not always in our control. So we're going to try and control a situation that isn't always in our control, but by asserting power within it, we get a better eye view. We get a better understanding of things. All right. But things are going to twist and turn in a way that is overwhelming for us at times, but also in a way that we hadn't expected. So that's something to be mindful of. There's a sense of prosperity that comes around the Hierophant. The Hierophant in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the Pope. And the Pope, this is the marriage card. This is the card that shows institutions' power. But it's undeniable power. It's undeniable, like, set in stone type of things. And what we always have to remember is nothing is fully set in stone, or those stones can also be shattered or worn away by the wind and by the water. And what we're going to see here with ourselves is that what we once thought, like, this is it, like, I can't change from this path, we're starting to see that, yes, I can. It doesn't mean that we have to shatter everything, but it means that what we thought we were stuck to, or what we thought it had to be a very certain way, we're starting to embrace a liberty from. But there's also a sense of looking at the finer parts of who we are and the finer points of who we are and saying, but this isn't something I want to change. This is the part of me that, yes, it can be weathered over time. The wind can break it down. The water can push it away, can smooth it out. It's kind of like a pebble in the sea. But this is the part, and this is the point of me, this is the center of me, that is intrinsically important to who I am. And if this gets worn away, then something really big has happened here. And so as we're looking at our prosperity and as we're starting to celebrate something that we've worked so hard for, we're also seeing the parts of ourselves that can't be changed. But we're also seeing how we fit into institutions, whether we don't fit into them at all and we have to find our own path, our own way forward, or whether we fit into them quite nicely and this is where I want to be and this is where I want to stand. But the Ten of Swords is showing me here that we have a bit of trouble with something that is, institutionalized. And it's a sense here of needing to go your own way, needing to embrace your own sense of independence, truth, understanding. The Ten of Swords is a wealth of knowledge gained, but not in an easy way. The Ten of Swords is also my minor arcana death card, the dying away of the old self, the rebirth of the new, the sense of look at everything that you've learned. Look at everything that you've overcome. Yes, there's always a sense of I can do better, I can strive for more, I'm going to be super hard on myself, but there is also a sense of what the heck does that get you? How does that move things forward? Where is it that you want to be in the long run? The Ten of Swords is a challenging card. It always will be. And when we look at it in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there's no basket on a person's back. It's a person laying on the ground with 10 swords in their back. Death, destruction, end. It always makes me think of Caesar's end, et tu, Brute. Like, I was betrayed even by you. And what we're going to feel here is a betrayal on how life was supposed to be, a betrayal on what we saw on the television and what we lived in real life. It's not nice, it's not kind, and it isn't easy. It isn't an easy pill to swallow, but it is important to know. Life is not a Disney fairy tale. It is a grim fairy tale. It is a fairy tale that is hurtful and painful and overwhelming, that denies us so much, but yet teaches us everything. We are our stories. We are the accumulation of lessons that we have learned, heartbreaks that we have had, things falling apart. The Ten of Swords is realizing that. And it's realizing that in a very honest and real way. It's saying life doesn't always get to be glossed over. We can't always edit things so that they're just perfect. Sometimes we have to let things be as they are, no matter how hard it is for us to understand. But after 10 years, after 10 months, 10 days of lessons and intensity, there's a change. There is a difference in the countenance of being, a difference in the way we hold ourselves, the difference in the way we look at things. And there's a sense of, I want to say grim determination, But I'm seeing here that I think Spirit is doing a wordplay with the fairy tale. But it's determination for the beauty, even though the beauty isn't going to be Hollywood perfect. And it leads us to the Ace of Wands. It leads us to God, Source, Spirit, however we see the divine, the universe, handing us a gift, a passion of creation, of beauty, of understanding. This is why we get out of bed in the morning, and it's rooted in our hearts. This is our fire. This is what our hearts sing to. And this is how we have to express it in jubilance and in understanding. There is a sense here with the Ace of Wands of saying, well, what is it that I'm passionate about? And it doesn't mean that this has to become our job. It might never be. It might be the side hobby that gets us through life. It might be the passion that opens up doors that we start talking to somebody about, and all of a sudden friendships bloom from, or even romances bloom from. This is something beautiful. This is something passionate that lights the darkness, that illuminates our path forward. It is a success and it is a triumph. And it leads us to the Strength card crowning the public arena. The Strength card is saying, well, first of all, we have to be strong. But it's also, I'm just seeing here, I'm seeing here adults, children playing at being adults. Have you ever watched, especially like teenagers or young teenagers, where they're trying to be it's all teenagers, where they're trying to act like adults and they just act like jerks. Most of the time they just act like jerks. And it's so interesting to watch because it's like, well, then do adults just act like jerks? It's like, is that how they see it? And yeah, that could very well be the case, that some people do. But there is also a sense here of needing to know what real strength is without being bossy, without being arrogant, without, putting on a facade. And the people who are truly strong, the people who can truly face things and stay standing, they have a gravity to them that is intriguing, that is, I find, utterly attractive, but also a real sense of self. And that's what we're embracing here, that real, true sense of self, that sense of, this is who I am. Like it? Fantastic. Don't like it? That's okay too. But this is me. The strength is not the brute force strength that our world seems to admire so much, that children play at and look like jerks because. It is the sense of strength of character, strength of compassion, strength of understanding, humanity of spirit. And that's what we need more of in this world. And that's what we're crowned here. So we're going to be calling on strength. And it's not strength of saying it has to be just like this. It's a strength of compassionate understanding for ourselves and for the world around us. And it leads us to the Eight of Pentacles. It leads us, and the repeat of the number 8 in this public arena means that we tend to take things too personally. To be followed by a Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords absolutely amplifies that. So we do have to be mindful of taking things too seriously. All work, no play. That's going to become overwhelming. The Eight of Pentacles is a sense of the hard work paying off, the prosperity coming forward, bounty becoming a part of us, and actually seeing the blood, sweat, and tears mean something. So there is this sense of greater triumph, greater understanding. There is this sense of my hard work plays a purpose because I play a purpose. And it leads us to the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is the student of prosperity, the student of bounty, the person who sits there and says, well, how does this fit? How can I put this together? Steps back, kind of looks at things like a child would, with new eyes, a sense of wonderment, but also a sense of why not? As adults, we tend to say, oh, well, that can't be done. Well, it's like, why can't it be done? What if it's like this? What if it's like that? What if I change it? What if I gain an understanding of it? And so here, with the Page of Pentacles, we become a student of the prosperities that we've planted within our lives, with the bounty that we want for ourselves, with the way that we want to move forward in our world and in what we desire. And this becomes being very honest with all the knowledge that we're accumulating and the seeds that it plants within us. Envision ourselves, like I love the fact that he's surrounded by books. So just think of everything that we read, everything that we watch, everything that we hear, everything that we say. It gets planted within us, right? It starts to grow. And it grows in different ways for different people. But this is a time where we start to see what we have planted and start to say, how is this relevant? And then we also start to plant new ideas. We can become very, almost obsessively interested in things during this time. And we get swept away in it. It just sweeps us off our feet, becomes entrancing and enticing. And it leads us to the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords comes with a warning. We can be astoundingly impetuous during this time. Just run off, chase after things. I'm going to slay the dragons. I'm going to go after everything. Nothing's going to stop me. I got this. That's one part of this time. So we have to be mindful of it. But the Knight of Swords is also the sense of slaying our own dragons, slaying our own demons, slaying what has become so terribly frightening for us that we don't know how to move forward. The Knight of Swords is this sense of looking at what we desire, looking at what we want, and saying, why can't I get out of my own head? Why am I chained here? Why has this become the fear that I live by and that I almost worship? Because we all have it. And facing those fears, making ourselves step out of our comfort zones, become braver, but also calling us out on our own BS, that's so important. And that's what the Knight of Swords does. The Knight of Swords is the rescuer, is the hero of the tale. And so this part of our consciousness comes forward and is the hero of the tale. Now, with a person that we meet in the public arena, we're going to meet a person that starts letting us think of things differently. That's what the Page of Pentacles really makes us think, kind of pushes us not so much out of our comfort zone, but shows us things that we never even knew we were curious about or that we didn't think could fit together in a certain way. They might actually feel like we've come home when we meet this person because they open up so much to us. This person may also not stay around very long because I usually find with the people who are there to open up the doors, they don't stick around. They open up the door and then they kind of disappear into the world. The Knight of Swords, well, the Knight of Swords is going to be a person who can be astoundingly charming, just have this way with words that quick wit, keen mind can be just astoundingly charming. But again, this person can be on their own adventure. And with the Knight of Swords, they're always on their own adventure. Whether they stick around, whether they don't stick around, they're always seeking something more. If you have a really evolved Knight of Swords, they'll be on a spiritual adventure, and they will be slaying spiritual dragons to open up to the world of their choosing, their creation, their understanding. And there is a sense here that this person, whether they're in our lives for a long time or for a short time, they hand us a gift that starts to illuminate things. It starts to have us thinking differently, but it also starts to have us looking at our hearts differently. And it leads us to what we dream of. It leads us to what we deeply and sacredly desire. Now, let's see what the spirit animal message is for this time. Scorpio, April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Scorpio, April 1st to the 15th, 2021, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So we have here the badger, which I love, the badger spirit. It says, be fearless and be bold. Be what nobody expects us to be. Be fearless and brave and bold and determined and focused, because as we are, people are going to look at us differently. They're going to start to see us in a braver light, in a better light, in a sense of, I misread you before. It's because we're not letting the fear hold us back, be the stranglehold around us. The subconscious spirit animal message is the lion spirit. Be generous of spirit. Not only to others. Being generous to others, it makes us feel rather magnanimous, and it can be nice. But being generous to ourselves, being forgiving to ourselves, that's important. Knowing that not everything is perfect, not everything has to be perfect, but opening up our spirits and our hearts to what we truly desire, what we truly need, and who we truly are. That's amazing. It leads us then to our subconscious person message, which is the Prince of Pentacles. Now, we can be challenged financially here during this time. Not so much of financial difficulties, though it can seem like we're just not making headway, like we're stuck and we don't know why we're stuck, and it's because we're in our own way. The Knight of Pentacles moves very, very slowly. And so if we're coming up against somebody who is the Knight of Pentacles, it can be like bureaucracy. It just moves so slowly. And you're like, oh my gosh, I can do it for you. I'll do it faster. But things have to move at their own pace. And that's going to be very important. Wealth at this time, it moves at its own pace. And at times it's going to be unbearable. And at other times it's going to be just right and everything starts to click. So do be mindful of that. And when it comes to people, just know that you might think, oh my gosh, they forgot about me, and send little reminders, which is important because people do get overwhelmed and forget. But that when they get it right, oh my gosh, they get it so right. When they're on something, they are absolutely on something or onto something. Let's look at this subconscious chakra message, which is self-mastery. This is the This is the solar plexus chakra. And when we have self-mastery coming in, we're seeing the self coming forward. We're seeing what we desire, what we want, what we need, what we love coming together. And it's within ourselves. We're starting to see ourselves as great, as embracing the understanding, as embracing the fact that we are. We are so much more than what we had originally thought. And all of a sudden, there is a confidence to us that was unimaginable. It leads us to our subconscious spirit message, which here is create. During this time, we need to create. If we do not create, it almost feels like a part of us is dying. Create, create, create. The subconscious tarot message is the Tower. We've either been through a tower time where everything has been turned topsy-turvy in our lives and we've been pushed so far out of our comfort zone we don't even remember it. But the Tower is also the healing from those times, is a sense of being shaken to your core and not being the same person that you were. I always think, and I know it sounds so whimsical, but I always think of the nursery rhyme Humpty Dumpty and all the king's horses and all the king's men and couldn't put him back together again. They never once say it's an egg. We can't put ourselves together just through force and power alone. It doesn't take, soldiers and kings. It takes healers. It takes compassion. It takes slow and steady understanding. And that's what we're embracing here. Slow and steady understanding. To discover where we stand now and why are we here? Why has everything fallen apart? And how have we rebuilt? There is power. There is beauty. There is determination here. And we ourselves are embracing it. All right, Scorpio. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we release the fears and the muck and the mire that has been holding us back. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio.